guys, so just a quick update from my last video where I was working on the transparent FPV glasses. I've made a couple improvements, small, so I'm going to try to be quick about this video and not ramble for 20 minutes like I did in the last one. But basically what you see is what you get. So I've cleaned up the box a bit. There's less cords sticking out the edges and whatnot. And I've made it so that there is an internal battery in this now, just running off a 650 4S battery. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So we got our ports. Basically, I took the bottom layer and sandwiched it in with the middle layer, simplified the case from 3 pieces to 2, and yeah, basically just cleaned it up a bit. It's still, I should add a screw in the corner because you can see there's a bit of a lip, but for version 2, not so bad. I also added a safety switch so you can turn it on and off from the internal battery. While the switch is off, you can still use the original barrel connector, which means you can connect it to your regular big pack in case the internal dies on when you're out. In my infinite engineering wisdom, I didn't add any sort of quick release for the battery, so you actually have to unscrew at least 2 of these 3 screws to get to the battery on the inside. That's kind of why I left the barrel connector there, because it's not that quick, especially if you're like on a job or something. On the barrel connector, just to reduce how much it sticks out, I did cut off the plastic right down to the bare wire and metal. I just electrical taped because in a rush I cut too far and I exposed the positive wire. Yeah, if you do this, I would recommend taking it easy. It's really easy to cut those wires. Yeah, everything's still the same as it was before, but I'll crack it open and I'll show you guys what it's looking like on the inside. If you watched my first video, the install is pretty much the same, if not a bit simpler now, except we're going to add an extra line in for the internal battery, but I'll show you that in a second here. So yes, still using M3 screws. I just lost one on the floor, never to be seen again. Alright, actually I'll take the third one off. For switching out the battery you only need to take 2, but if I'm going to show you guys what's going on, I'm going to take all 3. Now I have played around with this a bit in the field already, and while it's really nice to have the internal battery, the added distance between the external vent and the VTX means that the VTX gets a little warm. Due to where everything goes in this, there's not really a quick and easy solution without thickening the box, which is not something I want to do because it's already pretty thick. So I might put like a scoop on the inside of the top plate so that the air gets pushed out here before it has to go down through everything else. Anyway, I'm trying to keep this quick and to the point. Let's see if I can look at this backwards. So you got a 650 milliamp hour battery there. I'm just using a GNB. I use these for my sub 250s anyway, so I have tons of them. And this is the original voltage regulator. All I did was, let's see if I can trace these. So I added a power line to this switch here and added a second power line going to the XT30. For the ground, I went straight to the input on the voltage regulator. So basically what I have going on is I have 2 inputs to the voltage regulator and 1 output. This allows, because the inputs aren't actually running through any circuitry, it's just working as an extra solder point, so I don't have to like cut and splice 2 wires together to merge into one. It's just a mounting point more or less. But the input will run through the pads on the voltage regulator like a bridge and run back through the barrel connector to power the VTX. Super convenient because it means you can still use the barrel connector without mucking around too much. Even without taking this battery out, you can just leave it off, plug in an external battery, it works. Testing with this, the battery really doesn't last that long. It'll give you enough for your average 2 to 3 hour day as long as you're turning it off between packs. But my 1100 milliamp 4S battery lasts quite a bit longer. I'd say this probably gives you, rough guess, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes of flight time before it's dead, or at least screaming at you. But you can see why I had to extend the box down because of this adapter here. That I talked about in the last video, so I won't go into too much detail. I don't know if pulling this out will make it easier to see what's going on, but so you got your switch, your voltage regulator, input from barrel connector, and input from the switch, which is to the XT30, and then you got a black ground wire which is going straight back into the voltage regulator as well. You don't need a double switch because it's just a ground. So yeah, that basically sums up what I changed on the inside. I was going to do a latency test, so I got my laptop here. I'll see if I can find something. I'm pretty sure my phone goes 240 FPS. If not, I will grab a GoPro and splice it into this video. Alright, so this is going to be pretty rudimentary. Based off of some of the stuff I looked up online, using a laptop screen or something else with a refresh rate is a really not an ideal way of doing this test. Just because it adds an extra factor of the refresh rate. So I thought this is still going to be super inaccurate, but it might give us like a rough outline, something to guess by. I'm just going to take an LED light here to click on, click off, because that'll be pretty instantaneous, and I can control it. I have a GoPro here that will record at 240 frames per second, 1080. The light is bright enough that I can see it throughout the screen, basically off to the side and whatnot. And I'll have my drone right here with the camera on the front recording that. And basically what we're gonna have to do is a little bit of math based off of the frame rate of the camera, but I will figure that out once I've taken the test and sat down in my editor.